Multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless feet will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. No applause? You're all fired.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money. Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good.
Very good.
Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Oh.
Good morning, America. I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, where? Ginger.
Well, hello to you and you. Welcome into another edition of Brain Lee's Virtual Tour Live. Y'all, it has been quite the week. Malcolm Jamal Warner passing away Monday. Ozzy Osbourne passing away on Tuesday. Just found out, along with the rest of you, that and now the amazing chef from Food Network, the way she passed was by Ai. There's been a lot going on, y'all. And I made the thumbnail exactly the way I needed to for a reason. Because we're going to get into some ish tonight. Yes, we are. Because I am really damn tired of people believing just because no one cares about them, their existence, or the entity of who they are, means they can say whatever they want to about anybody else. So let's get into it, because this is a sad day for the wrestling world, y'all. It really, really is. So let me get this overlay up so that way you guys can know what we're talking about here. And we're just talking about this show, okay? So give me a moment. As soon as it loads up. All right, y'all. Higher is waiting, low is available, but either way, we are live on tour. Let me take down this iconic intro here. You see that virtual tour background? Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music. Here is the overlay. Right here, everybody. Let's be Jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. I'm going to read that 2 more times because this is the state that I'm in right now. Let's be Jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who support him. One more time. Let's be Jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. Okay? That's what we're here to talk about tonight. Okay? So that being said, let me take down this overlay. Let's make it do what it do. You see that virtual tour background? Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music? Yes, you do. And then there is of me. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. It's good to see y'all. Glad to have y'all here. You know, I was just kind of wondering, and we're going to get into it tonight. We're going to celebrate Hulk Hogan tonight. Shout out to all the wrestling fans that their hearts are heavy this evening. I found out about this at work. I literally was in work mode. I pulled out my phone and I saw Hulk Hogan passing away. I'm like, what is going on with this week? Right? And this is a week where the energy is just, you can't read it for this week. And so I thought to myself, right? If nobody jabberjawed in the healthcare industry, what would the consequences be? So I want to pull something up here real quick. I just want to pull something up right here. Excellent. By the way, this comes to us from BMC Health Services Research, right? It says quality communication can improve patient-centered health outcomes among older patients. A rapid review by Samir H. Sharaka. So right here, excellent communication is critical for all health professionals. It affects the quality of healthcare output, impacts the patient's health and satisfaction, and benefits both patients and providers. Communication is a critical clinical competence because it establishes trust between providers and patients, creating a therapeutic relationship. Physician-patient communication plays several functions, including making decisions, exchanging information, improving the physician and patient relationship, managing the patient's doubts, addressing emotions, and enhancing self-management. Features of effective or quality communication include involving patients in decisions, allowing patients to speak without interruptions, encouraging a patient to ask questions and answering the questions, using a language that the patient understands, paying attention to the patient and discussing the next steps. This communication also includes listening, developing a good interpersonal relationship, and making patient-centered management plans. Now, I was just thinking to myself, what if a content creator had something happen to them, right? And they got admitted to the hospital and nobody was jabber-jawing in the operating room. And they cut the wrong thing and you end up fucking dead. But God forbid anybody jabber-jaws to communicate what needs to be said, right? So there are going to be some people in this world, especially upon the day, that could care less that the wrestling world is jabber-jawing about the passing of Hulk Hogan. There are people that are going to be facetious about this passing and make jokes, this, that, and the third. I just want to put on people's heart that just because people don't care about your existence doesn't mean you have the right to make fun of people jabber-jawing about things that matter to them and being facetious, messy, and hellish to other people that they care about just because nobody cares about you. And I just want to shout out the healthcare industry. I want to shout out all the police officers, the firefighters, everybody in the service industry, hospitality. Oh my Lord, salute to y'all. And everybody in between, because without communication, there is no world. So we're all a jabber-jawers, right? You are, I am, like YouTube is a jabber-jawing platform. And it really boggles my mind when the world we live in is so quick to jump on, to just say anything, just to be a part of the conversation, not recognizing that life and death is the power of the tongue. He or she who has not sinned cast the first stone. And finally, just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it could not happen to you next, right? And, I want to look up the word here. I just want to look up the word here. Give me a moment, y'all. Because I really want to have this conversation tonight, because right now there's a lot of people hurting out here. There's a lot of people that did not wake up today. Somebody right now is in the hospital room, hopefully having the right doctor jabber-jarring to make sure a healthy baby can come into the world. Because if you have you looked at the maternity and paternity rates, the maternity and mortality rates of black babies when it comes to black women, it will piss you the fuck off. So shout out to all the OGBYNs and shout out to the NICU units that are jabber-jarring to make sure these children are okay. Oh, we're going there. We're going there because this shit is stupid, is tiring, is fucking disgusting. Now, I'm going to bring up the word facetious because I am going to shout out the NFL. As you guys know, there's a brother named Damar Hamlin. And Skip Bayless made a tweet saying, why are they stopping the game? The game should continue, right? And this is the definition of facetious, right? Treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor, flippant, right? So this is Damar Hamlin right here, right? So I want to show y'all this here. This is the collapse of Damar Hamlin on that field, okay? Right there.
That's
right there. Y'all remember that?
not what any of us want to see, and everybody's around him, and just hope that he's going to be okay.
So we'll take another break here in Cincinnati.
That brother could have died. As you can see right there, Damar Hamlin suffers cardiac arrest after making a tackle. Now, if Damar Hamlin were to have passed away, would it be right for people to be facetious and making jokes of, oh, he couldn't handle the pressure? Would that be right at all? Would that be right to be facetious and making jokes that would hurt his wife, his kids, his mom, his dad, his sister, his brother, his uncle, aunties, cousins, nieces, nephews? It does not ever matter to you until it happens to you. And God forbid anybody's child, I mean anybody's child or grandchild, is in that Damar Hamlin situation, whether on the field or just living their life, and they and they're in the hospital fighting for their life. And if somebody was being facetious in the hospital room while you being a mama bear or a papa bear, you gonna feel a fucking way about it. So this is all I got to say. If you ain't got nothing nice to shut your bitch ass or Mitch ass up, please. Because listen, God made a whole flood to reset the world. And I am quite sick and damn tired of social media being facetious, talking about people jabber-jarring, when guess what? If we didn't have jabber-jars in the civil rights movement, some of us would be strange fruit hanging in trees. Some of y'all forgot y'all fucking history about us being separated from families. The police were the way to control slavery, you dumb fucks. But God forbid it happens to your grandchild, your child. Hulk Hogan, somebody's dad, somebody's husband, somebody's cousin, brother, nephew. Co-workers are losing it today. WWE, tomorrow night, probably doing a Friday Night SmackDown tribute. The reason why we have a messed up world, it's not because of the world itself. The world actually has a lot more uniters than dividers. But when the dividers are the loudest with their noise, it drowns out the uniters, trying to make a sound for everybody to hear. So listen, please, upon today, for Ozzy Osbourne's family, for Malcolm Jamal Warner's family, for Hulk Hogan's family, for everybody, don't be facetious. Please jab a jaw, cry, scream, yell, cuss, be emotional. I don't know when it became a crime to give a fuck about people. I really don't know. But you know what? Just hope the energy you give, you will get it back tenfold. Because your real legacy is not when you're alive, but it's when you're fucking dead. And there's been some funerals that only one person has shown. Just hope you've done enough good that the church can be filled with people who give a fuck about you. Because some of y'all bitches and mitches are closer to the grave to die than at the cradle to start life. And with that being said, let's get on tour. Or let's go on tour, rather. Hulk Hogan, icon in professional wrestling, dies at age 71. By the way, everything I said, I meant. I said what I meant what I said. If what I'm saying ain't true, don't respond to me. But if you do respond, it must be true to some damn degree. Life is bigger than just being an ass, because nobody gives a fuck about your ass. Now, from the Associated Press, Hulk Hogan, icon in professional wrestling, dies at age 71 years old. I found this out. Clearwater, Florida. Hulk Hogan, mustache, head, dark, bicep, busting icon of professional wrestling, who turned the sport into a massive business and stretched his influence into television, TV, pop culture, and conservative politics during a long and scandal-plagued second act, died Thursday in Florida at the age of 71. You know, he was known for the ripped up shirts, man. Oh, man. Hogan was pronounced dead at a hospital less than 90 minutes after medics in Clearwater arrived at his home to answer a morning call about cardiac arrest. Same thing that DeMar Hamlin went through. Wow. This is my first time reading it, so I'm reading it as you are hearing it. Okay. So, police said there were no signs of foul play or suspicious activity, Nate Burnside told reporters. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, was perhaps the biggest WWE star in WWE's long history. He was the first main draw for the first WrestleMania in 1985. It was a fixture for years, facing everyone from Andre the Giant to Randy Savage to The Rock. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? And hashtag that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Even WWE co-founder Vince McMahon. Now, for those of you who don't know, there used to be the World Wrestling Federation, right? But before that, though, there were different, like you know how there were the Confederate States and the Free States? There were all these different divisions for wrestling. And Vince McMahon never knew his dad, but got to know his dad. And Vince McMahon went to every territory and made them united. And Hulk Hogan was a huge legend in the WWE. And by the way, if you want more wrestling history, watch a sitcom called Young Rock. It's no longer on NBC, but you can catch that on Peacock. Great sitcom. But outside the ring, Hogan also found trouble. WWE in 2015 cut ties with him for 3 years, even removing him from its Hall of Fame after it was reported that he was recorded using racial slurs about blacks. He apologized and said his words were unacceptable. Hogan won at least 6 WWE championships and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005 and reinstated there in 2018. WWE matches are now held in professional sports stadiums, with millions of fans have watched the company's weekly live television show program Raw, which debuted in January on Netflix. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Right, was it Raw on USA Network, you're correct. But then WWE and Netflix made a deal, and Raw and SmackDown were on USA Network. SmackDown went to Fox, right? It's going back on USA Network, and then NXT, which is their young division of up and coming talent, that's on the CW. So the WWE has went through many different owners in terms of broadcasting it, right? So just to give you a little behind the scenes tea there. He was a trailblazer, the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon, McMahon said of Hogan. Hogan's own brand of passion, Hulkamania, as the energy he created was called, what started running wild in the mid 1980s and pushed professional wrestling into the mainstream. He was a flag waving American hero with the horseshoe mustache, red and yellow gear, and massive arms he called his 24-inch pythons. Of course, I don't really have 24-inch pythons. It's a decent snake, but it's not a python. Crowds were hysterical when he ripped off his shirt in the ring, a trademark move revealing a tan-sculpted body. Hogan was also a celebrity outside the wrestling world, appearing in numerous movies and television shows, including a reality show about his life on VH1, Hogan Knows Best. In recent years, Hogan has added celebrity to his politics at the 2024 Republican National Convention, RNC. He merged classic WWE maneuvers with then candidate 47's rhetoric to passionately endorse him for president. Let 47 Mania run wild, brother. Let 47 Mania rule again. Let 47 Mania make America great again. Hogan shouted into the raucous crowd. He ripped off a t-shirt emblazoned with a picture of himself on a motorcycle to reveal a bright red 47 Advance campaign shirt underneath. 47 stood to applaud the move. And I'm sure yes, oh yes, Hulkster, yes, we're going to the White House together. Yes. We lost a great friend today, the Hulkster, 47 said Thursday on Truth Social. Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way, strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. Listen, you saw the thumbnail, you know my voice, and damn it, you know why you're here. Yes, indeed. Hogan lately began to invest in alternatives to theatrical professional wrestling, announcing plans in April to serve as the first commissioner for the Real American Freestyle Organization, which describes itself as the first unscripted pro wrestling leagues in the world. For those of you who don't know, wrestling is fake. I know, it's very choreographed. The first event is August 30th at Cleveland State University. I am sure there's going to be a big soiree for that first event. The idea was so exciting that I get a chance to be involved with all these young people, help guide them in any way, especially making them huge stars and creating a future for them. Hogan said, people might be surprised, but wrestling is wrestling, brother. A broken leg and a new attitude. Shout out to Patti LaBelle for sure. Hogan was born in Georgia, but lived much of his life in the Tampa, Florida area. Shout out to Tampa, Florida today as well. He recalls skipping school to watch wrestlers at the Sportatorium, a professional wrestling studio in Tampa. I have been running my mouth, telling everybody I'm going to be a wrestler. In a small town, the word gets out, Hogan told the Tampa Bay Times in 2021. And so when I went down there, they were laying low for me. They exercised me until I was ready to faint. The result, a broken leg and a subsequent warning from his dad. Don't you ever let anybody hurt you again, Hogan recalled his father saying. So I went back 4 or 5 months later with a whole new attitude. The rest is history. And that's Mr. T right there. Who paid the fool? Let me tell you, Mr. T did not change at all, did he? My Lord. Hogan first became champion in what was then the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, in 1984, and pro wrestling took off from there. His popularity helped lead to the creation of the annual WrestleMania event in 1989 1985 when he teamed up with Mr. T to beat Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Is that where Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank got his name, Mr. Wonderful? Yes, indeed. In the main event, he slammed and beat Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 in 1987, and the WWF gained momentum, or WrestleMentum, right? His feud with the late Macho Man Randy Savage, perhaps his greatest rival, carried pro wrestling even further. Hogan was a central figure in what is known as the Monday Night Wars, the WWE and World Championship Wrestling, WCW, I'll put that hashtag in after the show is done, were battling for ratings supremacy. In 1996, Hogan tilted things in WCW's favor with the birth of the Hollywood Hogan character, just like Hollywood Rock, and the formation of NWO, New World Order, a villainous stable that put WCW ahead in the ratings. He returned to the WWE in 2002, became a champion again. His match with The Rock at WrestleMania X8, a loss during which fans cheered for his bad guy character, was seen as a passing of the torch. Hogan was perhaps as well known for his larger-than-life personality as he was his in-ring exploits. He was beloved for his promos, hype sessions he used to draw fans into matches. He would often play off his interviewer, Mean Gene Oakland, start his interviews off, "Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene." Oh, man. Outside the ring, he crossed over into movies and television as well. He was Thunder Lips. Thunder Lips? Really? No, Thunder Lips? That's the name? Okay. In the movie Rocky III in 1982. In 2016, a Florida jury awarded Hogan $115 million in a lawsuit against Gawker Media and then added $25 million punitive damages. Hogan sued after Gawker in 2012 obtained a posted video of him having sex with his former best friend's wife. He said the post violated his privacy. Hogan ended up selling the case for millions less after Gawker filed for bankruptcy. Then there was the other fallout, rather, the litigation that led to the discovery that Hogan had been using racial slurs on tape. It was unacceptable for me to have had used offensive language. There's no excuse for it. I apologize for having done it, Hogan said in a statement. After Hogan was booed at the premiere of Netflix's new WWE show in January, Monday Night Raw, former WWE Mark Henry, who is black, said the scandal was a dark cloud over Hogan's career. Henry said he believes second chances, but Hogan never wanted to go forward and fix it. Outside Hogan's hangout, his restaurant in Clearwater Beach, people talked about their admiration for Hogan as the news of his death spread. Richard Noah, St. Louis, said the two men worked out together. 30 minutes into our workout in the gym, he said, "Cut the Hulk Hogan crap. Call me Terry." Noah said he was a really super nice guy. We're going to miss him. White reported from Detroit. Associated Press writer Sophie Riddle contributed from Montgomery, Alabama. Thank you all so much for that. A full life for sure. And, I will just say this, y'all. Sometimes in life, we do not know the day or the hour. And all you can do is what you can, right? And I want to bring up Stuart Scott's quote real quick here. I want to bring up Stuart Scott's quote real quick here. I just want to bring up Stuart Scott's quote. Stu. Give me one moment, y'all. Let me see if I can look up on here a little bit quicker. Stuart Scott. Cancer quote. Right here, Stuart Scott, cancer quote. And Stuart Scott, for those of you who don't know, Pookie Ray Ray, them cooler than the other side of the pillow. Yeah, yes indeed. He had a quote for cancer. C-A-N-C, cancer quote. Right here. When you die, does not mean that you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner of which you live. Now, what Hulk Hogan did with those slurs was fucking disgraceful, unacceptable, and unequivocally trash. With all that being said, this is still a human being, right? And sincerely, I do believe that in the wrestling world, right, especially, right, that there's the persona and then there's your soul. And sometimes those two can, mesh. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. And what I would say is to anybody that's going to talk about his mistakes, recognize your closet isn't clean either. And there's The Rock there in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yes, indeed, with the Razorbacks. Woo, pig, suey, Razorbacks. Yes, indeed. Love you, Arkansas. Yes, indeed. So, here it is here. New details on Hulk Hogan's death revealed after serious medical issue. This comes to us from the New York Post here. Hulk Hogan died about an hour after medics responded to his Florida home for a serious medical issue, police confirmed Thursday. Here is the scene of passing. Man, so sad. There's somebody on a stretcher, and that's who people will remember. As I was walking home today, I had a little bit of extra money. And hey, now, people, welcome in. Glad to have you here. 4 people now. Yes, indeed. Green Paradox. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. So I was coming home today. I was going to get into my place. And then I heard the ice cream truck. And I'm just like, you know what? It's hot today. And ice cream sounds good. As I was getting my ice cream, I said, you know what? For the next 2 people, they're having a bad day, free ice cream. And y'all know I've told y'all the story many times about a little kid named Zane at St. Jude Hospital. And this is when I went to Arkansas Tech University, Russellville, Arkansas. Shout out to y'all. Love y'all. Y'all are a very good university. If you are in Arkansas Tech, one of the greatest institutions ever. I sincerely mean that. Great town, great people, great vibes. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let me make someone's day. And I think a lot of times we tend to forget that in the midst of people being people, there is some good. And I think that us as a country, we know how to be more for amplifying the bad than sounding off the good. So to the fans like that brother right there who got a one-on-one experience at Fanatics Fest, that's what the fans are going to remember, So yes, indeed, there. Medics were dispatched to the 71-year-old wrestler's Clearwater home just before 10 a.m. Thursday, and he was briefly treated on the scene. And this was July 2nd, 2025, just weeks before his death. He still got those arms now. Listen, you can't tell him nothing. Hogan was experiencing a serious medical-related issue, Clearwater Police Department Nate Burnside told reporters during a brief press conference. Personnel provided medical treatment at that time, Burnside added, explaining Hogan was taken to a nearby hospital. He died there around 11:17 a.m., he said. There he is, signing autographs, the man himself. I never understand why people wear black when it's hot outside. Like, bro, you in Clearwater, Florida, or wherever he is, right? But, listen, there he is with some fans there. That was on the beach at the Sands Pearl Hotel. on Tony Atlas there. I was about to say I thought that was Andre the Giant, but yeah, that looks like his life is about to end to me. His hand is just okay. Can I leave though? Wait, I got things to do. Oh man. An official cause of death has not yet been released. I just told you guys cardiac arrest had not yet been released, but police confirmed there were no signs of foul play. TMZ reported a 911 call was made from Hogan's home for possible cardiac arrest, though police did not comment on the nature of the medical issue. Man, this has been a week for sure, and like I said, I had my favorites. I had The Rock, of course. I had, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those were my two. And even though wrestling, is fake, I've always respected the fandom. And the fandom, they're with you in the good, the bad, and the just because it is what it is. And, I would not be surprised if, during WrestleMania, there were probably parties out in the parking lot, and of course Hulk Hogan has a beer called Great American Beer, and I'm sure that there's probably going to be some people saying this is from my man the Hulk. You understand? This is from my dead homie. Let them have fun, y'all, at WrestleMania, okay? Let them have it. I think SummerSlam is coming up, if I'm not mistaken. From the New York Post as well, Hulk Hogan's cardiac arrest, 911 dispatch, cardiac arrest 911 dispatch call, audio released.
Okay, let's simmer down now. Y'all need Realtor.com, the app the pros trust most. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today.
This could be it.
Better put a key ring on it.
You could say that again.
You better put a key ring on it. Make it real with Realtor.com. Nearly home.
I just need more space. I feel like I'm suffocating.
Oh no. Is this the episode with the breakup?
How will we find the one?
Okay, let's simmer down now. Y'all need Realtor.com, the app the pros trust most. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today.
This could be it.
Better put a key ring on it.
You could
key ring. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Fire Type Bravo, Rescue 46, LR 45, Engine 46 to cardiac arrest. Rescue 46, LR 45, Engine 46, Fire Type Bravo. Fire Type Bravo, Rescue 46, LR 45, Engine 46 to cardiac arrest. Rescue 46, LR 45, Engine 46, Fire Type Bravo.
That was the call, ladies and gentlemen. Audio of the Hulk Hogan 911 call emerged Thursday following the death of the wrestling legend at the age of 71, with operators noting the matter pertained to a cardiac arrest. The brief clip obtained by TMZ operator can be heard dispatching medics to the WWE Icon's residence in Clearwater, Florida, where he was stretched out and placed in an ambulance. TMZ report a slew of police cars rather than EMTs. And by the way, shout out to all the EMTs that jab a jaw to make sure that we can stay alive. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are doing amazing work. We're parked outside Hogan's home. No cause of death has officially been announced. WWE is sad to learn that WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. WWE wrote Thursday in a message on Twitter. Or tweet on Twitter. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. WWE extends its condolences to Hulk, his family, friends, and fans. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bolino, underwent a neck procedure this past spring. This is a breaking news story and will be updated. So now we got some dynamic video to add here for all of you, some perspective from some organizations here. So let's, like I said, we will take time out to do this. Do not mind doing it at all. So here we go.
All right, we are following some breaking news now. Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died. His manager told NBC Los Angeles that Hogan died surrounded by his family in Clearwater.
I'm doing okay. I am drinking my water, minding my black-owned business, be in peace and not in pieces. Hulk Hogan has passed away. Let me show everybody the thumbnail just so we all know what the energy is over here, because I do not have time for games. Not here, not there, not anywhere. Okay, so let me put up this real quick. Okay, let me put up this real quick. Love everybody. Love the people that deserve love. Let's be jabberjaws rather, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life, and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. This is the energy of this live. Okay. All right. Moving on. Shout out to some people here. Thank y'all for coming through. Like I said, it's all good. I'm not tripping. I'm doing this for the fans. As y'all know, we are a very cultural channel. We cover everything else. And I do mean everything else in culture. And sometimes, even though this is a black channel, there are a whole bunch of black people in the world of wrestling. And shout out to Bianca Blair and Jada Cargill and Nakia Lyons, and so many. The women wrestlers are throwing down. Did you hear me? And this is for them, you know. And I feel a tremendous honor, privilege, and responsibility that when you come to this channel, you feel that you have a place to fall. You can be free, but most of all, you can be seen. There's a lot of places that love to, and I remember saying this about the Republican National Convention when I saw, and this was in Cleveland, Ohio. I said this on Dr. B's Crib almost live on Black Squirrel Radio. I said, you know what's really funny? Just because Republicans are embracing you for a moment doesn't mean they're going to, accepting you for a moment doesn't mean they're going to embrace you into the experience. And there's a lot of people accepting people for what they can do for them, but then throwing them away when it's inconvenient. Be careful of who you allow into your circle. I remember when Melody Cherie said, I'm going to try to pray for my enemies. And I remember something that my mama said. And I think Melody said this too. There's a difference between praying for you and praying on you. Now, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But let it fly, it must apply. Okay, so back to our coverage here, right here from NBC News. Let's get into that right now.
All right, we are following some breaking news now. Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died. His manager told NBC Los Angeles that Hogan died surrounded by his family in Clearwater, Florida this morning. He was 71 years old.
Hogan, whose real name was Terry Jean Bollea, rose to pro wrestling fame in the 1980s and 90s, facing everyone from Andre the Giant to The Rock. He won several WWE championships and really expanded his celebrity status with the VH1 reality show Hogan Knows Best. Joining us now with the details is Morning News Now anchor Joe Fryer. Joe, I also know that you are a WWE fanatic.
Yes,
so
exactly.
You really understand not only his life, but his legacy.
Yeah, exactly. And I became a huge fan in the 80s when Hulk Hogan was the biggest deal. And that is a huge part of his legacy. Up until Hulk Hogan, wrestling was a thing that some people liked. It was more of like a regional thing. Everyone had their little regional league that they'd watch. Hulk Hogan made it a national mainstream thing. And he got families involved in it. He got kids involved in it. He had his catchphrase where he would say, kids, you need to say your prayers. You need to take your vitamins. WWE just confirmed the news, saying it's sad to learn that the Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures. He helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, his friends, and his fans. He was not immune from controversy throughout his life. It was about 10 years ago that he was secretly recorded making some racist his comments. He was actually removed from the WWE Hall of Fame at that time. But he also sued Gawker, who published those comments, and won a huge lawsuit against Gawker.
By the way, this is W.D. Reynolds Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, home of the mighty Arkansas Razorbacks. Okay, so yes, indeed. They could have used any picture, NBC News, but thank y'all for that.
At that time, eventually WWE did put him back in the Hall of Fame about 5 years ago. And as you mentioned, he was in movies. He was in Rocky III. He was in another movie called No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny. And then, like so many celebrities we know of these days, introduced to a new generation through reality TV, this time a reality show on VH1 called Hogan Knows Best.
That's right. He really was a household name. You didn't have to be a super fan to know who Hulk Hogan was and to grow up with him as we did. There were some rumors that began swirling about, this time last month about his health. He's 71 years old. What more do we know?
We have not learned anything specific yet officially about how it is that he passed away. There were those rumors that people said he was on his deathbed. People close to him denied those rumors. So we're still waiting on more official word. He lived in Florida. But beyond that, we don't know what his health status has been. But he has, like so many people who are in the wrestling industry, has had pretty much every surgery.
By the way, that is Willie Geist. That's Nally Morales. She is now at CBS, and that is Al Roker. Can you imagine, like, when you make it in Hollywood, that a legend comes through? That would be like me on Good Morning America, and Angela Bassett comes over and hugs me. I'm like, you're Angela Bassett. Who the hell am I? Right? So I'm always glad to see when even celebrities freak out of like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So yes, indeed.
Surgery you can possibly imagine throughout your career.
Yeah.
And so, we'll wait and see more information regarding exactly how it was he passed away.
Joe, it's interesting that, a lot of the country got to know him, as you mentioned. The younger generations were reintroduced to him through reality television. Tell us more about his family and who he leaves behind.
Yeah, well, so he is married. I apologize, I don't know his wife's name off of hand, but kids over the years, all of which who were, part of that reality show that he was a part of as well. And the other thing that people have gotten to know him over the last few years is politics. He was not shy about his support for President Donald Trump, one of those prime speaking slots, and he gave a very impassioned speech. He was, of course, known for ripping that T-shirt apart. And some people would argue that, of course, is one of the many celebrity endorsements that did give at least President Donald Trump a boost during last year's election.
Sure. And he was 71 years old.
Yes, 71 years old.
All right, Joe Fryer for us. Joe, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. We will keep you updated on this story as it develops on NBC News Daily. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Thank you, ladies. I just have to say, I am so proud of the progression of the news industry. As you all know, Barbara Walters, who's no longer here, was the first female anchor of a network evening newscast, and to see two women anchoring there, what a sight to see. Of course, the first female anchoring duo was Diane Sawyer and Robin Roberts from Good Morning America, which you catch weekday mornings with Robin, George, and Michael, the best trio on morning TV, only on ABC. Yes, indeed. Their shots. Here is Mick Foley right here. Shout out to WRAL for this.
We just learned that Hulk Hogan passed away. I mean, when you heard the news, what was your first thought?
Well, it was almost shocked because he was one of those guys who was larger than life. You just assumed, and he didn't appear to age. So you never thought that the last time you saw Hulk Hogan would be the final time you saw Hulk Hogan.
And you guys obviously had your quarrels over the years. But from what I have read, I mean, you guys made up. I mean,
Yeah, it was a really nice moment. I mean, it was a show, but I believe he was 100% sincere because he not only apologized to me for something that was said at least 25 years earlier, but he insisted on apologizing to me a second time. And I accepted it, and I considered him a friend before that. but I definitely helped bond. That was a nice bonding moment for us.
I know everybody's going to ask you like memories about Hulk Hogan, and obviously he has the legacy. But is there, a moment that you guys shared outside of the apology and like the mending, but maybe professionally, of you guys in the ring that that's what you think of when you think Hulk Hogan?
Well, the two things I think of is that I had a really nice talk with his daughter at one of these conventions, and got to know her dad through her daughter. And also from reading his book, where I was like, we're actually quite a bit alike. And the second memory is not something I saw, but it's something that a friend of mine who worked with Hulk in WWE before I got there saw. And I told Terry or Hulk that this was the one thing that mattered to me. Like anything else is just commentary. But that Hulk Hogan, my friend said, those kids from Make-A-Wish and other wish organizations, they'd go in there and they'd just be beaming. And, you can't feign the type of joy that Hulk brought to those kids. Like, that was real in his heart, which is why it seemed so effortless. But he was great at it. He made a lot of people happy. Above and beyond what he did in the ring and for wrestling in general, he was great to those children.
That's his legacy.
To me, that's his legacy. Against their identity.
I mean, what has he meant to the sport?
He's meant so much that we actually use him in setting our examples. Like when I was talking about Caitlin Clark, don't they realize she's the goose that lays the golden eggs? It's like, I know not everyone liked it when Hulk came into town, but it was a sense of like, hold on, because we're going to greater heights than we ever imagined. And this is the...
And I want to pause it here because what Nick Foley is saying is true. It always takes a disruptor in order to give a new energy, a new frequency, and a new space to be able to explore. And not all legends are appreciated. Dr. Phil will always say, when it came to the end of the show, he would look around at everybody on the stage after, sitting down with them for a full 60 minutes, a full hour. And then he would point to somebody and say, this situation needs a hero. I choose you. And I'm just like, what a dumbass statement to make. Because here's the thing. Heroes do what the people want to do, right? So when the people say, please save us, please save us. The hero does what the people want. But legends, not people that call themselves legends. That's what do I always say. It's one thing to call yourself, it's another thing to be chosen. But legends do what needs to be done when the people could revolt. Let's keep going with Nick Foley here.
The guy doing it. That's what he did for us. And, I think everybody, if they grudgingly accepted it at first, they were really grateful for him when they saw, the way the business had exploded.
Obviously, a little bit of controversy with him over the last, 10, 15 years, roughly. I mean, do you see a separation between Hulk Hogan and...
By the way, pause. I just recognized this. This is Dr. Facilier. This brother loves Princess and the Frog. Mick Foley, we good people, man. We good. One of the best Disney movies of all time. The last Disney movie with hand-drawn animation, everybody. Okay. Peak moment over. Let's keep rolling.
In that regard, or are they one, and how does that affect us?
Well, that's up to each individual. I got some heat at the time for sending out a message saying, I know he's a good man who made a mistake. I think we all make mistakes. I don't think anyone should be filmed in the inner confines. I thought he was a good man, an imperfect man who did a lot of good in the world. And that's how I choose to look at it.
Obviously it's not, the news is all fresh, but once this really sets in and settles in, what are you going to be thinking?
Well, I'll be thinking about the times that I went to Madison Square Garden, not as a Hulkamaniac per se. I was going to see a couple of the other matches, but when that music hit, I was all in. I was a Hulkamaniac for those few minutes. But he electrified a crowd like no other, and the lessons that we learned from him, we've passed down to the next generations, and so his legacy is alive and well in wrestling and beyond.
Do you remember the last time you talked to him?
it was like every time I talked to him, hey brother, we're gonna get together for that dinner. And yes, we are. We never did get together for that dinner, but we were always thinking about it.
Yeah, maybe that's something we can send to people. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while,
Make sure you do it. All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
First of all, great interviewer. I loved absolutely, Reggie. Now, welcome and glad to have you here. I love that interviewer. Very conversational, very open. Meeting the energy where Mick Foley is. And, I often, it really boggles my mind sometimes with some of these so-called content creators. Because, anybody can, create something. It takes somebody to be an artist, right? And, when I see content creators, doing interviews or, trying to do a hot topic show, this, that, and the third, some people's moral barometer is non-existent because they're so involved in just saying anything to exist, right? That they don't have a soul to be responsible for how they carry themselves, right? And so what I loved about that was the news was immediate. And instead of it being just a regular interview of how'd you feel this, that, and third, you got to know Hulk Hogan through that interviewer's eyes with Mick Foley. So shout out to WRAL, a great interview there. We do have more dynamic video for you here. This is from SPN Sports Center right here. Let's go to that right now.
Breaking news in the sports. Professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died in Florida at 71 years old. We welcome in ESPN New York's Pete Rosenberg, who is also a WWE analyst. Pete, what's your reaction to the news of his death?
Wait a minute. I didn't know Pete Rosenberg was a WWE analyst. What the heck? Oh, Pete Rosenberg, listen. Shout out to you for getting a bag that nobody knew about. Like, no shade at all, right? I had no idea. I know he's on Ebro in the morning, Hot 97, which, by the way, Hot 97 is Ebro in the morning. Power 105.1 is the Breakfast Club, okay? So please, if you are a dumbass and you don't know shit, just say that. Just say you a dumbass. But sincerely, when public information is out here, utilize it, say you were a dumbass, and move on and be better if you have the faculties to be better. Then again, some people weren't born with faculties to be anything of importance to anybody. So, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on with Pete Rosenberg from Hot 97, who is a WWE analyst on ESPN. Roll it.
Oh man, it's a complicated feeling. Instantly just sadness, obviously off top. Really heartbreaking. I think for a long time, many of us had concerns about his health. Just in the last couple of weeks, there were some conversations, some rumors spread that his health was not good. But I'm floored. 71 years old in professional wrestling in the era that he is from, knowing what he put his body through, it is a very long life to live. He put a lot of miles on that body, worked at a time in which you were working 300 days a year. But the bottom line is, in spite of the shortcomings that we've seen of the man Terry Bollea over recent years.
I just want to pause this for a minute here. Headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleMania events, 7 wins. That's the first fun fact there. Number 2, won back-to-back Royal Rumbles in 1990 and 1991. 1 of 4 ever to win back-to-back. That's the second one. Number 3, held the WWE World Title for 1,000. Let me say that again. 1,474 days from 1984 to 1988. Third longest reign of all time. And the fourth one, 2-time WWE Hall of Fame inductee, 2005 as an individual, and 2020 as a part of New World Order. Let's keep going.
Years, perhaps, there is no denying he is the most important professional wrestler who ever lived, culturally. He is the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. And if Hulkamania doesn't start there in the mid 80s, I doubt that someone like me is able to make a living in professional wrestling. He completely changed the sport.
Yeah, I remember watching him as a kid. He was such a huge part of my childhood. of watching wrestling, and he was one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. So what would you say his legacy was?
I mean, honestly, the legacy for Hulk Hogan is essentially the wrestling business as we know it. You know, if Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan don't do what they did in the 80s, is WWE scoring the incredible deal they have right now with Netflix?
Correct.
Does The Rock become a movie star? Are we watching Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, NXT on Tuesdays? Are all of these things happening without Hulk Hogan? To me, the answer is no, they're not. At the time in which he came, this was a really popular regional business. We know what Vince McMahon did to transform wrestling as we know it.
And let me just say this too, wrestling, absolutely, Reggie, now for sure. Wrestling was not always as cool as it once is now, right? It's just like gaming. Video gamers were nerds, this, that, and the third. But now gamers are getting full ride scholarships. Gamers are having multi-million-dollar deals. Gamers have careers, you hear? So to see the evolution of wrestling with Hulk Hogan, and I mean, you know, they always say don't cry because it's over, but cry because it happened, right? And yeah, this one is very, very sad today. You know what I mean? So let's keep going.
But none of those things would have happened unless he had an iconic superstar. And that superstar was Hulk Hogan. So to answer your question, I think, frankly, his legacy is the success of professional wrestling in the way that it's successful as we know it.
Yeah, now, the truth is the last several years have been controversial. So how does that affect what we think of Hulk Hogan going forward?
You know, that's a really complicated question. And the last several years, of course, were troubling for a lot of people who grew up loving Hulk Hogan. And one of the things, honestly, that I'm saddest about at this moment is that Hulk never really made the amends that people wanted. He really never took the opportunity to, I think, apologize to fans in a way that would have been super meaningful. And I think that did hurt a lot of people. But the fact of the matter is, as we sit here on the day at which we lost him at 71 years old, I think if we are reasonable people, we understand that human beings are complicated and we don't deserve to be defined by our absolute best moments or our absolute worst moments. And while Hulk Hogan had some bad moments over the last several years, more importantly, Terry Bollea had some bad moments over the last several years, that just does not negate the fact that if you're doing a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, he's probably number one with a bullet. He is the Kleenex, the Babe Ruth, the sort of logo of professional wrestling, and that can't be taken away.
Pete, we really appreciate you joining us on short notice to give us some great insight on Hulk Hogan. Thank you.
Cheers.
By the way, Pete Rosenberg, shout out to you, bro. I did not know you were this smooth off the mic. I had no idea. I really got to give you your credit. Like, here's the thing. Can we get more Pete Rosenberg on ESPN and less Stephen A. Smith? Can we do that, ESPN? I mean, I know you paid the bastard $100 million, but I mean, come on. This is smoothness. This is articulation. This is intelligence. I'm just saying. All right, moving. Yes, indeed. We do have more here. This is from Live Now from Fox. Here we go.
Rescue. Just before 10 a.m. today, Clearwater and Rescue, along with the Clearwater Police Department, responded to a house in the 1000 block of El Dorado Avenue for a medical-related call. It was discovered at that time Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, was experiencing a serious medical-related issue. Personnel provided medical treatment at that time and transported Mr. Bollea to Morton Plant Hospital, where he died at 11:17 a.m. The Clearwater Police Department is conducting a death investigation, which is standard in these types of cases. There are no signs of foul play or suspicious activity related to this call for service at this time. Our personnel is providing the family with the necessary resources. I'm strongly encouraging everyone to keep the family in their thoughts and respect their privacy during this difficult time. We will not be answering any questions, but we will provide additional information when it becomes available. Any public records request should be filed through our public records section with the Clearwater Police Department. No records will be released today. Our thoughts are with the family, and again, we ask everyone to respect their privacy during this difficult time. Thank you.
That was from the Clearwater, Florida Police Department. Thank you for that live now from Fox. All right, y'all. More to come here from Braylon's virtual tour live. We got some more dynamic video from NBC News right from the space right here, right now. Hashtag roll it.
I'm Hallie Jackson in Washington, and we're coming on the air with breaking news out of Florida. You can see it there. Officials holding a news conference in Clearwater about the death of Hulk Hogan, of course, the wrestling superstar who died today at the age of 71. Let's listen in.
Conducting a death investigation, which is standard in these types of cases. There are no signs of foul play or suspicious activity related to this call for service at this time. Our personnel is providing the family with the necessary resources. I'm strongly encouraging everyone to keep the family in their thoughts and respect their privacy during this difficult time. We will not be answering any questions, but we will provide additional information when it becomes available. Any public records request should be filed through our public records section with the Clearwater Police Department. No records will be released today. Our thoughts are with the family, and again, we ask everyone to respect their privacy during this difficult time. Thank you.
An extremely brief news conference, no questions taken there from police in Clearwater, Florida, on the death of Hulk Hogan at the age of 71. A simple statement, key headline, of course, being no sign of foul play in the death of Hogan at the age of 71. Apparently, officials had responded to a call for a cardiac arrest. He was then taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. His real name, Terry Bollea, of course, was a pro wrestling legend who helped make the WWE a household name and became one himself on TV shows, in movies, including in the third Rocky movie. I want to bring in NBC's Joe Fryer, who's following this for us. So, Joe, this was billed as a news conference from police, a bit of an update there. They did not take any questions inside the room about the death of Hulk Hogan at his Florida home just today, Joe. Tell us more about what you've heard and reaction that's coming in.
Yeah, not much information from authorities who did put out a news release earlier, basically echoing what we just heard there, saying that the nature of the call that came in just before 10 a.m. today in Clearwater, Florida, was for a cardiac arrest. We know that EMTs responded. They took him to a hospital, Morton Plant Hospital, and he was pronounced dead there. So we know the call was for a cardiac arrest. It's going to take some time before the medical examiner ultimately determines what the cause of death is here, Hallie. So we'll have to wait for more information about that. But we can tell you this is something that I'm getting texts from people of all walks of life, because that is just the impact that Hulk Hogan had on culture just across this country and across the globe. I mean, you sort of mentioned this, but professional wrestling was not a big deal in the early 1980s. Most of the wrestling chapters that were out there, they were regional. They were the kind of thing your dad might have watched, but they weren't huge. They weren't national, and they didn't have a superstar like Hulk Hogan, who came along and suddenly turned it into something that was truly, it was called Hulkamania. He told kids, you know, say your prayers, take your vitamins. And kids got into it. Their families got into it. 1985, 40 years ago, was the very first WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan was in the main event then. He teamed up with Mr. T. That was the main event. And that is sort of a sign of just how things had shifted in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, we should keep in mind here, professional wrestling, it's very physical, but it is scripted. The outcome's usually predetermined. It is a form of sports entertainment, as you call it. But then Hulkamania just continued to grow. And it was really 2 years later, it was in 1987, WrestleMania 3, perhaps the most iconic match in the history of the industry, when Hulk Hogan body slammed the 500-pound Andre the Giant and won that match. But as we saw moments ago, Hulk Hogan leaves behind a complicated legacy over the years. We know just last year he appeared as a major speaker at the Republican National Convention, unabashedly supporting President Donald Trump. And there were some other...
There's The Rock right there with Hulk Hogan. Yes, indeed. there.
Convention, unabashedly supporting President Donald Trump. And there were some other issues that he experienced over his post-wrestling career. There were some racist comments he made that had surfaced. He ended up being removed from the WWE's Hall of Fame for a period of time. He worked hard to make amends for that, was eventually put back into the Hall of Fame and started appearing on WWE programming again. And then there was also this sex tape, which was published by Gawker, and Hulk Hogan sued it. And he won that lawsuit. He got millions of dollars and really ended up taking down Gawker. Not to mention all the movies that he was involved in, including Rocky III and a VH1 reality show, which featured him and his family. At a time still, we were talking about Ozzy Osbourne just a few days ago. This was shortly after that. Hulk Hogan was sort of one of the first reality TV pioneers.
You know, Joe, Hulk Hogan also in his later years was open about his struggle with prescription painkillers after a series of surgeries that he had. You talked about wrestling, obviously hard on the body. This was something that he spoke about. He shared his story in presumably the hopes of helping others too.
Yeah.
So when you are working 300 days a year, right? They back in the day, they had no breaks at all, right? Like if your body was damaged, your body was damaged. Now the WWE has guidelines, regulations that, allow the wrestlers to have a life, right? And so when you are, being flipped and tossed and smashed with chairs and broken glass upon your head and everything else, that pain can get to you. So having those painkillers really does help subside the pain there. So that's what they're about to get into here. By the way, welcome in, everybody. We are live on tour. I am your virtual tour guide, Braylon Lee. Welcome in, like, comment, share, and subscribe if you are here for the vibe. You are live on tour with me, Braylon Lee, Braylon Lee's virtual tour live. We are here talking about Hulk Hogan. He passed away today at 71 years old, and here is the thumbnail. Let me take down the banner and take down this comment so we can all get the vibe here. Let's be Jabba Jaw's wrestling world and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. Okay, that is the vibe here on this virtual tour this evening. All right, getting back to the commentary that's happening from NBC News. Here we go.
He had a number of surgeries over the years. Pretty much anyone who has been in professional wrestling has, no matter how much training you have, no matter what you do, the bottom line is if someone hits you with a steel chair or throws you through a table or slams your body into a mat, wrestlers, if you ever say to a professional wrestler, that's fake.
I forgot. Through the table was a legendary move in the WWE world. Yes.
They're going to not agree with you on that. They'll tell you what happens to their body is not fake. It is a scripted event. It is entertainment, but it is incredibly difficult on their bodies. And despite all the training in the world, there are numerous injuries. Not to mention when we talk about CTE and we talk about football, there's always questions about whether CTE has impacted anyone in the sports entertainment field over the years, and the damage from that. Clearly, we don't know anything about that being linked to Hulk Hogan here. But it is hard on your body. He had a number of surgeries over the years and was candid about struggles with painkillers.
You know, Joe, I feel compelled to let folks know that it's not as though you're drawing on this wealth of knowledge about the wrestling world from a research packet. This is something that I know is something that you've followed for many years. But what's so interesting about Hulk Hogan is that whether you liked wrestling or not, I guarantee you knew his name.
Yeah.
He had such an impact well beyond the world of wrestling, even beyond the world of movies. If you weren't a movie buff, you still knew who Hulk Hogan was. We show that image of him ripping his shirt. That was like his iconic move that he again reprised at the RNC just last year, Joe. He had a very wide-ranging impact in this country and around the world.
Yeah, and that was, there's literally no one who's had a greater impact on the world of professional wrestling because he took it beyond professional wrestling. My parents, when I was a kid, I started watching wrestling during the years of Hulk Hogan. My parents were not terribly fond of that. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but they certainly knew who Hulk Hogan was. Yeah. And when you saw him in person, whether it was in a main event or whatever, there was certainly something captivating about him. His music, his theme song was "I Am a Real American." This sort of patriotic theme was something that he pushed incredibly hard. The colors, obviously, he wore the iconic yellow color, but on top of that, it was always red, white, and blue around him. It was the message. He spoke directly to children. We had never seen someone in the world of professional wrestling ever do that before. And because of that, children got hooked on it. And then next thing you know, sometimes their parents were suddenly going to matches or watching it on television. And so he truly became a cultural phenomenon and was the first person, this day and age. We know The Rock, we know John Cena, we know Dave Bautista. These are people who started in professional wrestling and then made their way into the entertainment world. Hulk Hogan was the first person to do that in the industry. It started with Rocky III and then just movies that where Hulk Hogan was the marquee star in those movies. Whether they were successful or not, that can be up for debate.
Right.
But he did something that no one had done before.
And we've heard.
And to give y'all some context here, my uncle, God rest his soul, he would, whenever me and my family would go over to my uncle and auntie's house, he would be in the living room. And I'm trying not to cry while saying this. He would be in the living room, having the TV on, and he would be watching Monday Night Raw on USA Network. That was his social elixir to relax, right? The lights, the cameras, the actions, the storylines, the vitality of being live on TV. That was my uncle's way of having something for him, in the words of Dolly Parton, save a little piece for you, right? And my auntie, she would watch the Sci-Fi Network, and that was their dynamic when it came to TV watching. But, in seeing this, I thought my uncle today. I miss every damn day. I really do, man. So yeah, that's why I said in the beginning of the live and meant everything I said, because life is short. If you don't have the capacity, capability, comprehension of brain cells to form a brain, the faculties, or the soul to understand that everybody's trying to do the best they can, and it takes jabberjaws to make the world go around, because without communication there is no world. And God forbid, if you're in a horrible situation, somebody was being facetious with your demise, you would not like the energy, especially if it came to your family and your friends, God forbid your kids or grandchildren. So yeah, sometimes we have to recenter the energy, because without recentering the energy can get very chaotic, damaging, and toxic. So yes, indeed. Back to Joe here from NBC News and Hallie Jackson. Here we go.
Heard the WWE, we've seen that even today as I'm looking at some of their statements here, talk about how they are remembering Hulk Hogan now, as so many others are. Even, Joe, where I'm sitting here in Washington, the vice president, putting out a message about this. You see the WWE statement there as they describe him as one of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Joe. And here's the vice president's tweet, a great American icon, he calls him. As you point out, Joe, and we've shown some of the video here, Hogan appeared at the Republican National Convention. He was at a rally with President Trump shortly before his inauguration. He was open about politics, too. He was somebody who was unafraid to use his celebrity for a conservative cause.
Yeah. And, in the world of professional wrestling, there are certain wrestlers who have always over the years been very open about their politics, and to be very clear, both sides of the aisle. There are those who are Democrats and liberal, those who are Republican. But Hulk Hogan really led the way in the fact that he very clearly supported President Trump at the time, then candidate and former President Trump. And the fact that he was an evening speaker at the RNC. If someone had told you 10 years prior to that, or 15 years ago, that something like that was going to happen, that a former professional wrestler would have such a visible speaking slot at the Republican National Convention, they might not believe you, but clearly that was part of the campaign strategy then for the Trump campaign, trying to appeal to these men, especially younger men, to get them to turn out to vote. And history will tell us that in many ways that was a successful strategy for the Trump campaign.
Let me play a little bit more about Hulk Hogan's life and his legacy from our correspondent, Mark Borger, now.
Long before he was the face of professional wrestling, Hulk Hogan was a professional guitar player and baseball pitching prospect. He made his wrestling debut in Florida in 1977. Just 2 years later, the wrestling world would be introduced to Hulk Hogan. The Hulk won his first world title in 1985, pinning the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. Hogan skyrocketed to fame and Hulkamania was born, ushering in the 1980s wrestling boom. From movies.
Commercials would be uncivilized.
And TV shows. Hulkamania had become a worldwide phenomenon, with Hogan the industry's most popular character, becoming the first pro wrestler to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated. In the mid-90s, Hogan would join a competing wrestling organization, Ted Turner's World Championship Wrestling, reinventing himself as a villain. Outside the ring, Hogan's fame included scandal, admitted steroid use, and an unauthorized sex tape that led to a legal battle and an award of millions. A WWE Hall of Famer, he returned to the ring in 2014, hosting WrestleMania 30 and celebrating his 61st birthday. Colorful and charismatic, Hulk Hogan will be remembered as a larger-than-life personality and a pop culture icon. Mark Barber, NBC News.
Our thanks to Mark Barger for that. Our thanks to Joe Fryer as well, as we are remembering Hulk Hogan today, again in that short news conference from Clearwater Police, saying that there are no signs of foul play in Hogan's death. We will have much more coverage ahead right here on NBC News Now. I'll see you tonight at 5. I'm Hallie Jackson. For now, NBC News Daily is after the break.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Thank you, Tom Yamas. Appreciate you, good sir. All right, y'all. Here is some more intel from Extra TV. Here we go.
Has died. Breaking news.
Let me go back.
Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died.
Breaking news, wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died.
The wrestling legend.
Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died.
Breaking news, wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died.
The wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died.
The shocking news, the most famous wrestler in the world, Hulk Hogan, dead at 71. This is the dramatic video as rescue crews tried to save his life outside his home and put him on an ambulance.
Rescue 46, LR45, engine 46.
The 911 dispatch audio revealed
Cardiac arrest.
as new details emerged that just before 10 a.m., Clearwater Police received a call.
Discovered at that time, Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, was experiencing a serious medical-related issue.
We're back.
This video is reportedly from several months ago. Hulk visiting his new sports bar in New York.
The fans in New York still treat me like I'm the champ.
Yeah! But just last month, there were reports Hulk was on his deathbed and in a coma following a neck surgery. His wife, Sky, denied the rumor, stating his heart was strong.
Hogan's not doing well. He can't speak. His trach or whatever was damaged, and he's having problems, and it does not look good.
3 days ago, radio personality and one of Hulk's former best friends, Bubba the Love Sponge, revealed he had heard this news from a source.
They've gone as far as they can go at the hospital. Now they're keeping him comfortable at his house in a hospital bed.
Is it hospice?
By the way, Bubba the Love Sponge is from the world of wrestling, also from Howard Stern. So just to give you guys some context, conjecture, and connection there.
I don't know. That's not the words that we're using.
On the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, Hulk recently talked about his ongoing health issues.
No, I've had like 25 surgeries in the last 10 years.
That's it.
Yeah, 10 back surgeries. Nobody told me the gimmick stuff was fake, man.
Despite the health problems, Hulk was working in his final months with Eric Bischoff.
Real American freestyle wrestling, getting ready to rock your world.
To televise their wrestling league, Real American Freestyle, set to air on Fox Nation.
Look at this!
Hulk was a wrestling legend, beloved by his fans, the Hulkamaniacs.
Over for the cover! It's over!
He became the face of the WWF in the 1980s and a household name.
He participated in so many things that crossed over and transcended what pro wrestling was and helped make it bigger, and hugely influential, but still somehow impossible to replicate.
Just after the news broke this morning, I spoke with wrestling reporter Sean Sapp.
What did that world turn into, and him as a part of that world?
Well, it went from what was largely regional companies in the United States to WWF becoming global, and he was the face of that.
93,000 plus as the world's heavyweight champion.
Credited with transforming the sport into family entertainment and growing the WWF into a multi-billion-dollar empire.
Thunder Lips is here. In the flesh, baby.
He also pushed his career into Hollywood, starring in films like Rock.
I still cannot believe Thunder Lips was the name. Like, I mean, the Hammer of Thunder would have been better, but listen, this was a different time.
Let me tell you something right now.
And then becoming a reality star in Hogan Knows Best, featuring his kids Brooke and Nick.
Extra, what's up?
Today, tributes from around the world are pouring in. Sylvester Stallone posted this pic from Rocky III, saying, "My heart breaks." John Cena with this shot from Hulk's famous WrestleMania fight with Andre the Giant. Brooke Shields said, "Rest easy, Hulk," remembering his guest spot on her show, Suddenly Susan.
That's what I think of spunky.
Fellow wrestling legend Ric Flair said this, "No one will ever compare to you. Rest in peace, my friend." Hulk Hogan was 71 years old.
Thank you, Extra, so much for that. Extra TV, great job there. Now we're going to hear from ABC News here. Hulk Hogan's longtime agent speaks out on his death. So here we go.
And now we are hearing from Linda McMahon, calling him a dear friend who will always be remembered in and out of the ring. For even more on Hulk Hogan, longtime agent Darren Prince as well. Darren, thank you so much. I know today has been a tough day, and people all over the world have been talking about Hulk Hogan, but only a people really knew Terry. Tell us about the man behind the character.
That's what I've been telling everybody, as heartbreaking as it is. And thank you for having me. I never looked at him as Hulk Hogan. I got to know the real Terry Gene Bollea, who put God first, who absolutely loved his fans. Up to recently felt he was always treated like he was still the heavyweight champion. And not one phone call ever ended with us without saying how much we love one another. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those true blessings of an individual in my life.
Well, I know how much you loved each other because you have talked about your struggle with opioid addiction, and you say it was Terry that was the one that was supporting you throughout your entire recovery. Tell us about that journey and how he helped you so much personally.
Yeah, that was amazing early on. I remember he called me up one day and he goes, "Brother, you begged God for the blessing on July 2nd, 2008. And I think it's time that God is calling you and saying it's time for you to be a blessing to other people." And, Terry, Hulk was one. Magic Johnson is very near and dear to me. My clients really supported me, but Terry's right at the forefront. I mean, never judged me, understood what I was going through. And it was his proudest moment. I mean, the last probably 5-6 years, we would always say it's not in our business anymore. It's about life. We were each other's biggest supporters. We knew I wasn't perfect, he wasn't perfect. And to have that blessing with somebody that was so iconically beloved around the world is something I'll treasure in my heart and soul forever.
Mm-hmm. And we mentioned, earlier how Hulk was on the stage at the RNC last year. We were all there, covering it for ABC News. His involvement in politics, he seemed to balance it pretty well with his career, but there was something about Trump that he loved, just watching him tear that shirt off, put in that Hulk Hogan voice. Why did he want to get involved with politics, Darren?
Well, I know for a while he stayed out of it. After the assassination attempt, that's when I spoke to him that week, and he goes, "Brother, that's it. That's when I put my foot down, and it was time." And the way the world is right now, celebrities, it's a little difficult to, pick sides and be super public about it. But to him, he felt that was what crossed the line, and dove, head first right into all of it.
He sure did.
Yes,
well, I have to ask you, how do you think, because you had so many intimate conversations with him, you two were close for decades. How do you think Hulk Hogan, how do you think he wants to be remembered, Darren?
I'm sure the wrestling is important to him. You know, he knew in his own way that he was the Babe Ruth of the sport. But I think more as an individual and the way he was with his fans.
The one and only Muhammad Ali, right there. Rest in peace to him as well.
And the people that were near and dear to him. Like I said, it's so great.
Hang on. Dennis Rodman. I can tell because that is Dennis Rodman. There's only one.
Said he was so gracious with everybody he ever met. There were so many times me and my boy Bo and Nikki seeing people on my team would get
one and only Dolly Parton
agitated from the bum rush of fans and be like, guys, this is why Hulkamania is going to live forever. So I got to listen to every story. I got to shake every hand. This once in a lifetime, 30 seconds is what these people have been waiting for. And that's a rarity in today's celebrity world, as you know.
It is so true. From the fans to Dolly Parton to Mr. T to Muhammad Ali. We've been looking at all the pictures and reminiscing. Darren Prince, so great to have you. Really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Hulk Hogan was 71 years old.
And thank you, Kara.
Room for the
And then, of course, as you see right there, an interview with Hulk Hogan. And you know, with Hulk Hogan and Harvey Levin from TMZ. Last video, and then I'm going to mention something that Extra mentioned as well. And then we're going to end it here. And I'm going to do something that I, normally don't do. Of course, don't forget we have Virgins tonight. That review is happening at 8:30. Normally it'll be right from the space right here and right now, but I could not let today go by without giving love, reference, and respect to the Hulk Hogan today. And also some things need to be said. Okay. All right. So here is Ric Flair, Mr. Whoa himself, reacting to Hulk Hogan's death on TMZ Live. Here we go.
I am so sorry this hit you profoundly.
More than you'll ever know. People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
How did you get the news? I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry.
Oh, I've gotten it from everybody. I won't stop. And that's a good thing because everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel.
Say that two more times, Ric Flair, because I think the people, the idiots, the wastes of life, the people that were never born to be of anything of importance need to hear that two more times, please.
Everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel, and that's a good thing because everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel.
One more time.
Everybody is saying something nice. When social media can be so cruel. In this case, everybody is saying something nice.
So, I knew him over the years, but not like
you, Harvey.
I really had a connection with this guy. I'm wondering what he meant to you. I mean, I want to hear your connection to him.
Well, we had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steamboat, but we just had a chemistry that was, I felt like equal to me and Steamboat, but in a different way. And he was so over. I mean, when I went there in the 90s, I had never seen anything like it in my life. And the music started and he came down the hallway. And, I mean, I would get him down for 2 minutes and we'd have, it's just an unbelievable relationship. I mean, and I'll give you an idea of how much fun we had working together. If we were doing a dark match after TV, we would go and he'd say room service and throw me in, give me the boot, drop the big leg on me. We got back to the hotel for room service. I mean, that's how much fun we had working together.
So you guys were rivals in the ring. And I'm so curious about this. Did that ever kind of bleed out into real life, or were you always secretly friends?
Always friends. I'd be remiss to say I wasn't jealous that he was making so much more money than me, but it had nothing to do with him.
It's the hardest thing for me, man.
I'm not going to bring up his name. The promotion just put me in a bad spot, but not with him ever. Are you kidding? I loved him, and everywhere we went, we drew money. It's just we had a connection, and since then we've done signings together, and like the Hard Rocks, and I keep up with him. I've been out to his bar for karaoke, and I mean, it just, everybody wants to take a shot at the Hulk, but he doesn't deserve it. People make mistakes, and who knows how that happened, but it's just it's unfair to judge anybody by, I mean, who would I be to judge anybody? I mean, really, who is anybody that's a celebrity to judge anybody? We've all made mistakes.
I want to pause there for a minute because, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, he or she who has not sinned cast the first stone. And I think a lot of times people will end up missing out on blessings that they deserve because they're listening to curses. Let me say that on the big screen real quick. People will miss out on blessings in life because they're listening to curses. People will miss out on blessings in their life. People, places, things, opportunities, what have you. They will lose out on the good in life because they're listening to people who move as a curse. Now, if that doesn't apply to you, then I need you to get in the bed, pull the covers over your head, and go the fuck to sleep. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson, this message is not for you. This is for everybody who has had a fucking leech, a fucking parasite, a fucking poisonous snake in their life that has done destruction, devastation, and has been just in a disarray of a fashion that you are now beating yourself up over the life that you can't have because of a bitch or a Mitch that didn't even deserve to matter in the first place in your fucking life. Like I said, let me read the thumbnail of this live once again. Give me a moment, because I want this to be unequivocally motherfucking clear, okay? Let's be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. Let's be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. Let's be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. You cannot change the past and the blessings you missed out on. But the blessing of you being alive today is that you can cut those motherfucking curses out of your life today. I'm here to give you your curse-free papers today. If there is a person, bitch, or a match in your life, virtual or real, if there's a place, if there's a memory, if there is a frequency of energy, anything in your life that you feel like has drained you, I'm here to let you know. You can be quenched through the possible of what can be. I just wanted you to know that personally. Because life is too fucking damn short for you to be in pieces when you can be in peace. Life is too short for you to be in pieces when you can be in peace. Life is too motherfucking damn short for you to be in pieces when you can be in peace. Let's get back to Ric Flair and TMZ Sports. Like I said, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. Let's keep going.
So, I've talked to him over the years and, about his ups, of which there were many, and his downs, of which there were definitely some. Where was he at the end of his life in terms of his head? Where was Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea?
Well, I think he was doing great in it, but there's people that just, they take shots at Hulk and they want to blame him for being protective of his position, but they don't. The young guys don't understand that back in the '80s, it wasn't as political as it is now, but you had to fight for your position. I mean, not fist fight, but in some cases even fist fight. But because everybody wanted to be you. Does that make sense?
It does. And you mentioned being political. He was political. I mean, he was, I believe, the star of the Republican National Convention last year. And that, look, we're a 50-50 country divided. And he paid a price for that even when he showed up in the ring.
Yeah, well, you know what? One thing about Hulk, and I've never forgotten it. He used to say to me, it's not about who's the best worker, it's about who makes the most money. I hated that saying.
Well, what's interesting about that saying is that kind of applied to your relationship with him, that he made a lot more money than you, and that's what mattered to him, yet you never showed jealousy toward him.
No, I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at the promotion. I'm not going to bring up any names because now it's not a time to blame anybody. But
that's another.
He with me, he knew that I wanted to work with him because that meant I was on top, and we had some fantastic dealings. The match with Shaquille O'Neal as special referee, and then the Halloween Havoc where Tommy Hearns, Muhammad Ali, Sherry Martel. I mean, they're never going to be called classics, but they drew money, and we drew money. And the one thing that I said it publicly at the Garden one night. My son went to 6 rehabs.
Oh wow!
And my insurance didn't cover rehab, so Hulk lent me money one time to keep him in rehab and keep him off life support. So I've never forgotten that. And I went to pay him back, and he said, "You never have to pay me back. I'm here for you."
Wow.
And then when I was dying in the hospital, I don't remember, but he was the first one there. So how do you forget things like that?
I need Q-tip. Q-tip. Wendy Williams.
This is, an hour after we broke the news. So maybe it's too early, but I'm going to try. He was a complicated man. What do you think his legacy is?
His legacy is he's arguably, along with Steve Austin, the biggest star in the history of wrestling. For his generation, for his generations, he was light years ahead of me. I used to go back to Minneapolis to see my mom and dad, and they weren't part of the NWA. And it's one of the greatest things I ever remember. My dad would say to me, everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. They don't know you. Okay, Dad.
Well, that's not true.
No,
That is
no, in
definitely
Minneapolis,
not true.
we didn't go there, you know. And I mean, we met up on the road, and when we did, we always partied and had fun, and you know, we competed. But the one thing that was a for sure factor is the building was full, and we had fun. You know, we didn't have to talk about it for 3 hours. We knew what we were going to do because we felt it.
I get it. Rick, look, I know this was really hard to come on this soon after the announcement, but we so appreciate it. And again, at least from me and from TMZ, our deepest condolences.
Well, thank you. You know, I hope everybody just stands up and says, man, Hulk, you're the greatest. He made a lot of people a lot of money.
That he did.
Not just the promotion. He made a lot of people a lot of money. I can remember when he was working with Kamala, and Kamala wasn't getting paid right, and he went to Vince and said, Kamala needs more money. I mean, he had a good heart. Too good.
Whether you're kicking back and breathing.
Thank you so much, Ric Flair and Harvey Levin, for that. From Variety.com, Fox Nation teams up with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff for Real American Freestyle. Fox Nation has signed its second deal in the Live Sports Arena as the exclusive broadcast partner for Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and Chad Bromstein's Real American Freestyle, RAF. Fox Nation President Lauren Peterson announced the new deal on Monday. We're thrilled to partner with the American Freestyle team as they build a visionary brand that redefines the future of wrestling. Pearson said in a statement, fusing elite athleticism with unmatched entertainment, it's an honor to be a part of the new era of the world's oldest and most iconic sport. As a part of the partnership, Fox Nation will broadcast the inaugural match, RAF01, which is scheduled for August 30th at the Wolfstein Center in Cleveland. O-H-I-O! 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 Additionally, Fox Nation has secured the broadcast rights for the second event that will take place this fall. The venue and more details about the match will be announced at a later date. Real American Freestyle has created something that's never been done before. We needed a partner that understood that and could build with us. Hogan said, Fox Nation is synergistic with our brand. They appreciate the importance of bringing the sport to the masses, and they believe in our goal. Led by Hogan, Bischoff, Bronstein, and Izzy Martinez, RAF is an amateur-style wrestling competition with a mission to professionalize the sport. Wrestler and Olympian Kurt Angle, former MMA champion, mixed martial arts champion, and broadcast analyst Chanel Sean and MMA world champion Bubba Jenkins joined the event as commentators to provide analysis during RAF01, and that is mixed martial arts world champion Bubba Jenkins right there. Fox Nation is immediately understood the vision we have for Real American Freestyle, making them the perfect partner for this historic media rights deal, the first of its kind in the sport. Bischoff said, having the right broadcast partner is critical to put on this show for the fans, and we're thrilled to be working with Fox in collaboration with UFC, USA Wrestling, NIL organizations, and the NCAA. RAF allows emerging established athletes to compete. Proceeds from each ticket will be donated to Cleveland State University to support its efforts in providing opportunities for thousands of students to achieve academic excellence. Our goal in creating Real American Freestyle was to make historical moves to professionalize the sport of wrestling. Bronstein, co-founder CEO of RAF, said this partnership with Fox Nation will create a platform the athletes deserve, bringing freestyle wrestling to our fans at home. First matches for RAF 01 feature Bo Nicol versus Jacob Cardenas, Yanni Daka Komalis versus John Punta, Darren Caldwell versus Real Woods. Sorry for butchering y'all your names, y'all. Austin Gomez and Lance Palmer, not on purpose, y'all. Candy Blades versus Alexandria Rivera and Sarah Hillbrand versus Zillian Hernandez. Is the first unscripted wrestling league. So I'm going to do something that I have never done before. I'm going to give y'all a daily motivator, not from Ralph, says from me. There's a song I'm going to use from Antioch Full Gospel Baptist Church, College Station, Arkansas. Through all that I've been through, Lord, it was you pulling me through. You're right there to stay. And there was a minister named Minister Richard West that would do that song so beautifully. So the first thing about through all that I've been through, Lord, it was you. First thing I'll tell you is when you don't know how you will be pulled through something, recognize that there are people there to help you pull through it. Sometimes the biggest names in the world are known not because of the magnitude of who they are, but it's the people that support them. That's the first thing I'll tell you about how do you pull through something when you don't know how it's going to happen. The second thing I'll tell you is this. With any and everything, recognize that there will be rises and demises, the good and the bad, but life is nothing but a crystal staircase. But here's the blessing. As long as you can put one foot in front of the other, you are closer to being able to get through. And finally, my mom, who I love so dearly, she always has said to me that, Bray, if you try to give back to the world for all these scholarships and grants and all these shows, giving away money, this, that, and the third, and whatever you want to do. And Mama said, who is God? Just because you don't have the heart, the soul, and the capacity with the resources to pull somebody through doesn't mean that what you're giving doesn't mean anything. Truly, Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. He's seen the promised land. And he didn't see the promised land through what Democrats saw, through what Republicans saw, what a man saw, what a woman saw, this person, that person, data, whatever, size ever, data, blah. He saw the promised land where everybody could live out the free in their freedom. With that being said, everybody, I do have one other thing for you all, and it's a bit of a funny. But I think this guy right here, his name is Joe Molino, and this is Chris Collinsworth pulling up at a Chick-fil-A. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does Chris Collinsworth have to do with this? Just listen to the message, everybody.
Boy, this is going to be a treat, isn't it? I mean, every time I come here to Chick-fil-A, I'm blown away by just how special it is, whether it's the Chick-fil-A sauce, Polynesian, even the waffle fries, the chicken sandwich. They even have healthy options, too. You want the salad, the grilled chicken wrap, all available. You all say that it's your pleasure whenever you serve me, but it is my pleasure to be here. There is no doubt about it.
Sometimes we get lost in that your presence, what you give, and how you move matters to people. Like Joey said, a person named Chris Collinsworth, you always say it's your pleasure to serve me, but it's my pleasure to be here. There's no doubt about it. So to the family, the friends, the supporters, the colleagues, and everybody around the world, just know that as much as Hulk Hogan gave to you, you also gave something to him. It's one thing when we lose somebody, but it's another thing when the people connected to that person lose somebody. So as we end here, let's say it one more time, right? Let us be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who loved him. Let's be jabberjaws. I'm saying two more times, rather. Let's be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. Let's be jabberjaws, wrestling world, and celebrate Hulk Hogan's life and not be facetious about this passing to his family, friends, lovers, supporters, colleagues, and people who love him. If you can't give a fuck about other people, don't expect anybody to give a fuck about you. With that being said, everybody, it's time for this outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special, because you are always born a blessing. And trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why it's one thing to call yourself, it's nothing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully, by spending time with Gary Ross, we'll be great together. And always remember, we're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life. Or you're just recognizing that the facetious energy you want to have about others, people have that same energy about you. And thank God for Jabba Jaws, because without Jabba Jaws, what is activism? What is standing up for something good? And what can be good if nobody's a Jabba Jaw? Make sure the replay is not just for you watch it, not just for you listen to it, but for you want to experience it again. I love you, I value you, I embrace you all. Always remember, receive love, you gotta give it, receive love, you gotta give it, receive love, you gotta give it. Whatever obstacles you have overcome, whatever successes you have achieved upon this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you. But no one else is proud. Be proud of your damn self. Finally, y'all, I've said it before. If you don't know what to say, and this prayer has helped me out so many times, still does to this day. My mama gave it to me. It's called the alphabet prayer. God rearranged the letters and got exactly what I need to say. If you don't, and if you feel like your words don't have the weight to get to God, God is Alpha and Omega. And believe me, the Calvary comes from God. They've never lost a war. The army of man, they've always lost. Because the army does anything to win. The Calvary always is on purpose. Commercial break and fireworks coming your way for the day that was, for the day that's come, for the blessings going away for you, me, all of us as a society, as a people, as a culture. I feel the love. Send it right back to you. Good night, everybody. Love you all. Bye-bye.
I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. But